everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Erin, and this channel is all about entrepreneurship and living your best life. And I have a very fun video today because what I'm actually going to be doing is sharing with you a whole bunch of books that is going to help you be a successful entrepreneur in 2019. Or whenever you're watching this video. But these are some books that I've already read myself, but there are also some books that are on my reading list, so I'm just gonna give you what I know about them, but recommend them to you. So if you did enjoy the video, please give it a thumbs up. And of course, if you are new around here, consider subscribing. And please leave in the comments below your favorite book that you have read so far, because I'd love for you guys to not only have the recommendations of mine, but the recommendations of each other. So the first book that I am going to talk about today is one that I have actually already read or listened to on Audible, and it is Get Rich, Lucky Bitch. Now, I've read both books from Denise Duffield Thomas, both Get Rich, Lucky Bitch, and her first book, which was just called Lucky Bitch, and I must say that I much prefer this second book. So Denise's first book was very much more about her story and probably just dabbled in the basics of manifestation, whereas this second book is very specific to money mindset. And money is something that I'm focusing a lot more this year because I have some big impact goals, and obviously they take a lot of money, so that's my focus for the year. Also, I just think this book is really, really great for anyone who wants to start working on their money mentality, but also has that kind of spiritual edge to that. So Denise covers everything from charging what you're worth, working on your money limitations, forgiving anyone that appears in your money stories, and everything in between. Honestly, I'm not one to read a book very quickly. I'm kind of slow to either read or listen to books. I literally listened to this in probably the space of about a week. It was so captivating, and the thing that I love most about the audio version is that it feels like Denise is just talking to you because she like giggles at her own work halfway through. It's just very casual and very, very digestible. So please, if making more money is something that you want to do, then definitely read or listen to this book. Now, the next book is also one that I have read. This was actually through the recommendation of my mum, bless her soul, but this is called 101 Essays to Change the Way You Think. Now, what I love about this book most of all is that you can pick it up whenever you like. It's one that I listen to as well, but you can jump back and forth, whatever you need to do with this book. It's just a beautiful book of a range of different considerations to change the way you think. So really tapping into your mindset, your limitations, self-beliefs, self-doubt, confidence, self-love, everything that you need to develop a success and a fulfilling mindset. This book has just got some really, really beautiful concepts. So the way that the book's laid out, it's like a big listicle. So it just goes through all different topics and has a bunch of different lists within it about that particular topic. So for example, one of the lists might be 78 things to do when you are feeling down and bored. And it just goes through all these things that you can do when you're feeling down and bored, or 73 mindset shifts to make when you are feeling angry at other people. I don't know if they're actually in the book, but that was an example. But it's just a really good feel-good book for anyone who really is committed to changing to a more positive mindset. And so the next book that I am going to listen to, which is waiting for me in my Audible account, is The Code of the Extraordinary Minds. Now, I haven't read this one, but it was through the recommendation of a few people, including one of my business besties, Ruby Lee. And what I like about this book is obviously that it has the word extraordinary in it, which is like my favorite word of all time, but also because it is all about defining success on our own terms. So a big mission of mine is to empower people to create their own success, to create their own rules, to be unapologetically them, and to just live life as they please. Because the more people who do that, the better the world is going to be. And I think this book is really about mastering oneself to live a more successful and more unapologetic life. So The Code of the Extraordinary Mind is definitely one that I will keep you updated on. But if you are looking for something that is all about this whole defining success on your own terms, beating to the sound of your own drum, then this is going to be the book for you. And so the next two books I'm kind of going to couple together because they are for a particular purpose in my own business. But that is the book Never Split the Difference and The Millionaire Handshake. So one thing that I'm really committing to doing this year is getting better at communication, getting better at influence, getting better at speaking to people and being really confident in being convicted in what I want. And so the skills of psychology, the skill of communication, and the skill of negotiation are something that I want to learn a lot more about. So Never Split the Difference is actually written by an ex-FBI agent who was really, really high up in the negotiation section. So you can imagine that he has seen some pretty gnarly stuff in his life, but he has taken all of the skills that he learned through his time in the FBI and actually written this book, because now he has a very successful consulting agency for high-end business negotiation. And I just really think that, I know negotiation can sound a bit grim, it can sound like we are trying to get people to do something that they don't want to do, but that isn't what negotiation is about. It's about getting what you want. For me, I'm going to be doing a lot more live events this year, which means I'm going to be dealing with a lot of vendors and I'm going to be trying to get a lot of sponsorship. So for me to get the best deal that's going to help me and serve my audience, I need to know how to negotiate those deals. So I think if you're a business person, communication and negotiation should definitely be something that you're focusing on. And that is very much the same. I don't know a lot about this book, but with the $1 Million Handshake, I know it's about those big business negotiations. It's about that communication. It's about how to get what you want in the most loving and effective way possible. So if you're looking at being a better communicator, a better negotiator, those are two books that I definitely recommend for you. And the next book that I have is for anyone who is trying to figure out their purpose in life. So maybe you're an early stage entrepreneur who still doesn't really know what it is that you want to achieve, don't really know what your mission or your purpose is, and that is the answer. So I haven't read this book myself, but my fiance George read it and he said he really, really enjoyed it. So it goes through all about digging deep into finding what makes you happy, finding what your mission in life is, setting the goals, and being able to actually follow through and achieve those goals. So if you're someone, as I said, who's really interested in possibly doing something like starting a business or maybe doing something against the status quo, but you kind of don't really know what that is yet, I would definitely recommend this book. But you know what? I'm probably going to go and read this book myself because of the goal setting exercises as well as the self-management exercises that I've kind of skimmed through and seen in this book. You know, there's a really good way to start thinking about how we do things in life, and this book has a really good way of kind of teaching productivity in a sense, but really just more how to be more convicted in our goals. So definitely everyone, I recommend this book. It's so incredible. George, what do you think about this book, considering you are the one that read it?
I have the answer, so.
Well, George now has the answer, so guaranteed if you're looking for something in life, read this book. And then the final book that I have is really for anyone who's trying to go down that more coaching or online learning platform. So if you're creating courses or if you're trying to essentially help people to achieve something in any format, is this book called Mastering Coaching. Now this is one that I recommend to a lot of my clients. It's a book that goes over all of the different types of tools that you can use to help someone in a coaching method. So on the front here it says mindfulness, neuroscience, expert performance, positive psychology, and experimental learning. So while it doesn't actually go too in depth into those practices, it gives you a really good overview at a few different tools that you can use when you are trying to coach someone. So for example, neuroscience is something about training the brain. You know, how do we actually create new pathways in our brain to develop new habits or new beliefs? That is a really good thing that you can have conscious awareness of when you're trying to break old cycles and old patterns in a client. For example, if you were a health coach and you had someone who had a cycle of compulsive eating when they were feeling stressed, understanding how that pathway is connected in their brain, learning how to break that and replace it with a new pathway is very beneficial for you as a coach, because not only does that help them in the moment, but it creates lasting change. And then obviously, you know, the practice of mindfulness, if you were trying to help an entrepreneur to be more productive throughout that day, allowing them to become more mindful of when they're they're procrastinating or when they are getting distracted, that's going to be a really good practice for you to, again, help them to create lasting change. So having an understanding of these concepts and being able to put them into your toolkit is really going to help you to create more change for people, which will then help you to be more successful in your own right. So I definitely recommend this book for anyone who's doing this kind of coaching, e-learning style business. And then that is it from me. Those are the books that I have to recommend for you here today. I'm actually going to leave a list of other books that I want to recommend in the comments below. I know I make a lot of these videos because I just truly do believe that reading and learning is a gateway to success. So I'm going to leave a list in the description below, so please don't forget to check that out. And of course, make sure you do leave your own recommendations in the comments below. And my final PSA is that if you want more from me, if you want weekly updates and regular self-development, branding, and business tips, please sign up for my newsletter in the description below, because that is where all the juicy stuff comes from. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.